Hi, I'm Tiffany Oshinsky.
And I'm Kat Bell.
And this is Serving Pancakes with League One Volleyball. The inaugural Love season is finally here. Each episode will be going over the matches from the week to keep you up to date on everything League One Volleyball. Then stick around after the analysis for interviews with some amazing people in and around the sport. Today's episode features LOVB Madison opposite hitter Temi Thomas-Ailara. But first, we're going to talk all things Week 9, and we're also going to do a quick recap on Kat's birthday, which was last Wednesday. Happy belated.
Thank you. It was great. We had an amazing dinner at a place called Wu Chow. It's a Chinese contemporary restaurant in downtown Austin. And I had a set menu, everybody. I got there early and decorated the table with black tablecloths. And I bought these really cute glass vases and fake red roses and put those in there and kind of spread them out around the table with some lit LED candlelight. So it was perfect. It was giving grown and sexy. Everybody wearing lace to the dinner. It was great. It was such a great time.
Did you make that theme, grown and sexy?
Basically, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Love it. All right. Well, let's now talk volleyball because that's also grown and sexy.
True. Very true. I mean, I'm in it, though.
Of course. Well, we're going to get to you last because you guys played last. So we're going to start Week 9 with Nebraska. In Nebraska, where Love Salt Lake took down Love Omaha in 4 sets, 16-25, 25-23, 25-23, 25-19. Head coach Tama Miyashiro said after the match that it wasn't the prettiest game they've played.
Don't get me wrong, there were some ugly plays, and our ability to reset was incredible, I think. Because volleyball is like that, and we play against good teams all the time, good players, and so it's not going to always be pretty, but I'm just really proud of our crew for doing that.
So what does that say about Salt Lake's perseverance in this match?
I mean, Salt Lake every week is getting better, I believe. They're finding different rotations and connections with both their opposites, with Haiti and Skylar. But I say all the time, every week, it can be any man's match, any woman's match, so to speak. Omaha, I think, is still trying to find the collective piece, that collective gel piece with them, and Salt Lake, if you can get somebody down their bad day and while they're trying to figure things out, that's what you can do. So I definitely think it can be any woman's game, any team's game each week, and I think Salt Lake proved that going against Omaha. 2
standouts in this game were outsides Ronnie Jones-Perry and Claire Hoffman, who scored 38 of the 78 points in this match. We've talked about Ronnie a bunch. Actually, just last week, she was player of the match, so we went over a bunch of stuff about her and how great she is. So let's talk about Claire this time. She has only had 21 kills so far this season until this match, where she finished with the season high 14 on 32 attempts. She's also had season highs for blocks, digs, and points with 3, 10, and 17 respectively. So what did she do differently in this match to step up her game?
Well, we haven't seen a lot of Claire this season at all. So when the opportunity presents itself, I think like any other team, we have a deep bench with a lot of players that can come off and make an impact. Claire did that. I think her having an opportunity to come out and showcase her talent like she's been able to do, I'm sure within her practices, has also been beneficial for them. So I was so happy that she got out there and she did her thing. I love Claire. She's great.
Claire, Ronnie, and the rest of the hitters wouldn't have been so successful if it wasn't for the player of the match, setter Jordan Poulter.
Yeah.
We already know how amazing she is. She's a 2-time Olympic medalist. But talk about what she does on the court to put her team in the best position to win. How does she trick opponents with her ability to, set all over the court?
I think any great team in general, for football, for example, I think the setter for volleyball is the quarterback. And if you have a great quarterback, you have a great setter, you guys are going to be a great team. Jordan obviously is an amazing elite athlete. She's on the national team. And her just being her rhythmic stealth and be able to spread an offense and just bring her pieces together. I think, you have a great setter who is collected and has a calm attitude and just very, intense and just going about her job every match, you're going to get that. And Jordan Poulter is she's a GOAT. She's a freaking GOAT.
Yes, she is. And a great guitarist, too.
If she plays guitar, I didn't even know that.
She plays, self-taught, no lessons.
Oh, dang. That speaks to the hands. Jordan is really good about hiding where she's going against the traffic, for example, if the offense is going one direction, she's really good about switching it off, going the opposite direction. So that makes sense that she'd be doing something like playing guitar. Okay. Guitar lesson setters, that's what you need to do to be like Jordan Poulter. Guitar lessons.
Yep. There we go. All right, moving to Friday night. Love Houston pulled off their second 5-set reverse sweep this season, this time over top-seeded Atlanta, 21-25, 18-25, 25-21, 25-17, 15-10. Now, these teams look like this is the beginning stages of like a really good rivalry. You know, the top two teams in the league currently faced off each other in the Love Classic finals, with Houston getting that win, and here they are with another battle. What makes this matchup so fun and also so difficult for the players?
I mean, you have two teams that have great pin hitters, have great defensive players, and are able to go head and head every chance they get. You have two teams, two opposites that are also in the national team gym going head to head. So it just depends on whose night it's going to be. I think Houston just does a really good job. JT is just an amazing, phenomenal athlete. You know, whether she's tired or not, she's going to be JT. And I think as well as like Atlanta has Kelsey. So the matchup between them two every week has been really intense and fun. I'm enjoying watching it a lot.
Is it hard to make rivalries when you're friends with a lot of the girls on the other team?
See, it depends. You know, like as funny as Nicole Fawcett told me a story about her and Jordan Larson. You know, when they were in high school, they played against each other and stuff. But it was like they were really good friends. But when it came to like playing, it was like she was saying there was times she'd even talk to Jordan. You know, so. It shouldn't matter, you know. I feel like when it's time to play, we're friends, but we're enemies on the court, you know. So I think I'm really good about doing that with Maddie when we play against Houston, or if I'm able to play against her in any other team besides this season. I'm really good about like, you know, knowing how to get to her. For example, when I play with her in AU, you know, I could talk to her through that a little bit to kind of get her off her game, but she doesn't like it. She hates it actually. But, you know, I think sometimes it was one match she didn't talk to me for like 2 days because we won. She can get like that, but it just depends. So I think it's great. If you continue to be friends after a win or loss, that's amazing.
For sure. Now, middle Amber Igidi was the player of the match with 15 points, 10 kills on 17 attempts, and 5 blocks. Watching her hit, that girl has some serious hang time. It is insane. And it's funny because she's like one of the sweetest players that I've met doing these interviews. She's just so nice, but she switches. Her mentality just switches when she's on the court, and she's just a force to be reckoned with. So talk to me about Amber and her game.
I think Amber's one of those hidden jewels. I think she just continues to be dynamic for Houston and such a big part of their offense, and as well as their defense. Blocking-wise, she's huge. She's massive. I actually was able to kind of hear a little story about her from a reporter this past weekend that, like, you know, high school, she wasn't like one of the top recruits in her class, or like she kind of had a hard time balancing when it came to being recruiting. But as she got older and more experienced through clubs, she just kind of went off the rafters and was just going hand as she was starting to develop her talent. So I'm very happy for her. I think her story's really cool, and she's been playing great for Houston. Like, she's definitely someone to be on the lookout for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, we know that this is anybody's game, but as I said before, these Houston-Atlanta matches are making for a good rivalry. So what does Atlanta need to do to overcome their foe in the future?
Man, you know, when you have that up 2-0, you got to finish. You have to finish, you know. So I think, like I said, when the opportunity presents itself for you to close out a match, you got to do it. So that's the best thing you can do. Getting back to practice, working on some wash drills to show that you're down 3 points in the fourth, or down 3 points in the second, or down 2 points in the fifth. You have to finish when you get those opportunities, definitely.
All right, Saturday's doubleheader began less than 18 hours after Houston's big win against Atlanta, and that short rest time may have played into the loss against Love Madison. They lost 19-25, 28-26, 28-26, 25-16. Madison is absolutely on fire now, having won their last 3 matches. But how much would you say that this result was from a fatigued Houston versus a very hot Madison?
I think regardless, you have to come out and play your best match. But I think it definitely not a big part of it, but a part of it. I think not just physically, I think mentally, you know, I think we didn't get to see the same team we saw versus Atlanta with Houston. I think, you know, they had a lot more errors and mistakes, just like dumb things like hitting balls in the net that, you know, wouldn't see that Madison Kingdom Rochelle would do. So I think it was more of that, just, you know, losing connection. And I think Madison did a great job just staying on them and just, you know, going off the whole wave they're on right now and continuing to get in that win.
The player of the match, libero Melissa Medved, finished the match with 24 digs as well as 4 assists. Seriously, absolutely killing it. With her playing time up, she's really been able to showcase how great she is on defense, totaling 57 digs over the last 4 games versus 7 digs over the first 7. Now, you played against her. How has Melissa been for this Madison team?
I think just being consistent and digging balls in good spots. You know, I think if you can keep your team in transition in defense and dig a ball to where the setter can be able to set everyone from both pins, the middle blocker, and your pipe, I think that helps. So being able to do that and dig those balls in a good space for transitioning points is very hard to do. So her being able to do that consistently for them is definitely helping them a lot.
I'm loving the libero loves, and I feel like we might need to start like a Droppin' Bros
segment or
something like that.
Droppin' Bros podcast.
Yeah. All about the bros.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of great defense, last week we talked about some insane rallies that happened, but I want to highlight a specific rally from this match. It was set point for Madison in the second set. This insane rally lasted 40 seconds, and the defense started when Melissa hit the ball. She dug the ball, I guess, off her foot. Houston didn't even realize it at first.
Yeah. Okay, what a tough pass. That ball's still alive. Houston may have thought it was down.
And that really turned this rally into a slugfest. So what was your favorite part of that rally?
Definitely the ball off the foot. How often does that happen in a match? So if you're able to get that's like the laziest point you can do. Just kind of stick your foot out there if you can, or be ready and the ball go off your leg. It's the best point ever. So definitely the ball off the foot is my prime moment for sure.
All right, now the last match of the weekend, Atlanta got the W over your team, Love Austin, in 4 sets, 25-22, 24-26, 25-15, 27-25. Seemed like they had actually the opposite reaction to the 5-set loss the night before. So instead of looking fatigued, they looked motivated. It was also Atlanta's last home match for the season. So what did you see out of them since you were there?
Definitely, like it being the last home match for any team will give you a little bit of motivation to be able to kind of go out on a win. As tired as they may have seemed, and I'm sure because Kelsey took a lot of swings, they just played a steady, easygoing match. And honestly, it's almost felt like we kind of dug our own grave. We had a lot of attacking errors and we couldn't get the ball in play. Serve receive was a struggle for us as well. I think scouting report wise, I think we only had 2 players hit. And a positive efficiency. I think everybody else is in negative. So you can't win matches like that when your top 2 scorers are one of your top scorers is a middle blocker. Middle blockers are amazing, obviously, athletes in the court, but they don't win matches, and that definitely showed that.
And this match was a battle through and through. So many amazing digs, so many huge blocks. In fact, after the second set, both of the teams were hitting sub 100. But regardless of these obstructions, no one let down. So what's the strategy behind still going all out versus, change of pace and trying to catch the other team out of system?
It can be difficult. I think sometimes those situations go hand in hand. I think for us, if we kind of would be able to slow down and thought more like, what we wanted to do, keep balls off the barrel, because I think we serve the barrel a lot, focus more on our serving than the seams. Kelsey passed a lot of balls in the system for them last night. That kind of could have helped us to kind of slow down and kind of realize that kind of that trajectory of it. But also once you're on that stride and you're on that win and you're able to have that, that stride going forward and you want to ride that coaster or ride that wave, I think it's great to just keep going and going through it. So, yeah.
For Atlanta, their big blocker of the game was middle Tia Jimerson, who earned player of the match. He finished with 13 points thanks to 6 blocks, 4 kills, and 3 aces. Tia getting her moment finally. We've been talking about her for a while now. So how did she find ways to stop your hitters? I
mean, Tia is like the grim reaper of the league right now. I don't think a lot of pin hitters like her. Like she's in your face and she has big hands and she's stuffing, touching everything. And she's just being a dynamic mid on top of, if you get blocked, you get the finger wave. That's her thing right now. And then if you see that, I'm sure you're getting pissed. So, I'm proud of her. It's been great to see her play for Atlanta. She's been a great piece for them. Defensive-wise, blocking, serving. She has a great serve as well. I think she's definitely giving them the middles in this league for the run for their money. I think she's definitely one of the top 3.
All right, well, Khat, we're down to just 4 more weeks in the regular season. Week 10 is up next weekend. Here's the lineup. We got Thursday night, Madison in their 3-game win streak hosts Omaha, who is on a 6-match losing streak. And this will be Madison's last home match. Then Friday night, we begin weekend with Love in Houston as they host their newly dubbed rival by me, Atlanta. Saturday's first match will be Salt Lake versus Atlanta. And then we finish with the Battle of Texas, you and Love Austin versus Houston. You ladies have been the closers these past few weeks. So which of these matches are you looking forward to?
I keep cheering for my team, but they keep letting me down right now. So I'm going to go in the direction this week. I'm going to go Madison versus Omaha. I would really like to see Omaha kind of get out this funk that they're in, and it'd be a great way to do that on snapping Madison streak. So I would love to see Omaha get a win under the belt. What about you?
I'm going with this new rivalry that I'm loving, this Houston-Atlanta match. I want to see, some
It's such good volleyball.
Games.
Yeah, it's so good. Volleyball. It's so good.
Great volleyball, great players. It's a lot of fun to watch, so I'm excited to see that one. So, all right, well, when we come back, I sit down with Love Madison's Temi Thomas-Ailara. We talk about everything from Madison's hot streak to her Nigerian heritage to her hobbies and so much more. We're back with Love Madison's Temi Thomas-Ailara. An opposite hitter from Glenwood, Illinois, Temi helped lead Wisconsin to the NCAA semifinals in 2023. She spent the first 4 years of her collegiate career at Northwestern, earning AVCA second-team All-American honors in 2022 and first-team All-Big Ten from 2020 to 2022. She made her professional debut in the United States in 2024, and now she's playing for League One Volleyball in Madison and is here with us today. Temi, welcome to Serving Pancakes.
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
We're very excited to have you here. Now, we're recording this interview before Week 9 starts. So at this time, LOVB Madison is the hottest team right now in League One. You guys just won back-to-back in Week 8, including a sweep against my co-host Kat Bell's team. So, Kat, if you're listening, sorry about that.
Sorry, Kat.
But can you talk about the atmosphere on the team before this weekend and then after?
So before this weekend, we were on a little bit of a losing streak, but we were like, we can only really get better. We have nothing to lose in these matches. And like, we were on the grind, like looking for our first win. And we put in a lot of work like these past couple weeks from basically the first week until now. And we're still putting in work after these wins. But after those wins, it was like a big confidence builder saying that like, we've been going in the right direction. And it feels like we finally found where we need to be. And like, everything's kind of falling into place, which we're super excited about.
For sure. Now, this league, anybody can win, and we know that. We've seen it week in and week out. What was kind of being said, though, during your losing streak, like every week, that kind of kept you guys motivated and still excited?
It was kind of just like, we have all the pieces that we need. We just need to figure out how we're going to use them and how we're going to get to that next level and that next step. Because it was always like one little thing that would like hold us back. It was like one little run here, one little run there. And we're like, how do we stop that? How do we side out faster? And we figured it out this weekend. And it was great to watch, great to see.
Yeah, you guys were a lot of fun to watch. Did you guys get to do anything after? Because you guys were in Madison for the win. So I feel like, was there any celebration dinners or anything like that?
Actually, we went to dinner on Thursday with Tom. And he was basically like, if you guys win this weekend, we can have a dinner every weekend.
Oh. And
so before every weekend. So we have our next team dinner tomorrow. We're like, I guess that was the motivation we needed. Team dinner every week before our next match. Not like the money from the Glove Classic. We needed team dinner.
Everyone loves food, right?
Yeah.
Where did you guys go for this like rallying dinner?
We went to this place called Rare Steakhouse. It's in downtown Madison, like right by the Capitol.
Awesome.
And we're like, okay, if we can get it every week, we'll start winning.
I love that so much. I would do that for food too, to be honest. So I get it. Now, you're first generation American, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where's your family from and how did they end up in the States in Illinois?
My parents are from Nigeria and Lagos, and they immigrated here in the 90s because they wanted more opportunity for me and my brother. I have an older brother who's a year older than me. And Chicago, there's like a big Nigerian population here already. So they just kind of immigrated here and kind of set up roots here for us. So we have a lot of Nigerian American friends too that live in the suburbs of Chicago, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. How did you get into volleyball then? Did your family play sports? Like, did your parents play sports at all?
No, my brother and I did a lot of sports growing up. So I played like soccer, basketball, did gymnastics while I was short enough to play gymnastics. I just did a lot of sports, tap, ballet, like anything, and really fell in love with volleyball and just kept playing ever since, basically.
Did your parents have any idea what they were getting themselves into when it came to club volleyball?
No idea. So I started playing when I was 12, but didn't start like true club until I was 13. And then I started getting recruited for college, and my parents were like, wow, I didn't even know this was like an opportunity for you. Like, what do we do? And luckily I had a really good like club recruiting coordinator who kind of walked us through everything, because my parents really didn't know anything about college athletics and college volleyball and recruiting. So it was just a really fun process for all of us, but we all were like really confused most of the time.
Your brother played football in college, right?
Yeah, he walked onto the football team at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's so cool. So your parents had two kids, both end up going to college and playing a sport. What was that like coming from Nigeria, having no family, like no interest in sports really, and now all of a sudden having two athletes in their family?
I mean, my parents were definitely surprised by it, especially my brother, because he had never played football before. But they were so proud of both of us. And I mean, I just feel like making my parents proud by what I'm doing is so special to me just because I know they gave up so much to give me and my brother the opportunities here. Like they haven't really been back in a really long time just because they've had to stay here and like they've wanted to stay here and support me and my brother and still come to my matches or like go visit my brother and stuff like that. So just being able to make them proud is one of the best feelings in the world to me. And I know to my brother too.
That's so sweet. Have they been able to come out to your matches?
Yeah, they've come to a lot of the matches, and I just love seeing them every weekend cheering in the stands. It's so awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Now, going back to college and your decision, what ultimately made you choose Northwestern?
It was close to home, really good academics, and it had the major that I wanted, which was biomedical engineering. So, yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk to me about this? How did you get into biomedical engineering? Because I remember when I was reading your bio and I saw that, I was like, girl, that's like a serious degree to go for because that's like good for you.
It was intense for sure. But basically, my aunt is an engineer and I've always liked building things, but I've also really liked seeing people with prosthetics and just seeing how it's helped them like continue the way of life they had before losing their limbs. So like prosthetic legs or prosthetic arms. And so I was like, biomedical engineering is a way that I can kind of get into that realm of like building and doing prosthetics and stuff like that. So I chose that major.
That's so cool. And then you ended up going to Wisconsin and continued your studies there. Is that the reason why you decided to go to Wisconsin as opposed to staying in Northwestern?
Yeah, it was definitely academics and volleyball again. I think I had 4 years under the same coaching staff. So I think just having a fifth year with a new coach was really helpful for me and just fine tuning some areas where I knew I could still grow, but also Wisconsin and just the access to the hospital that I had while I was here and just kind of the networking I was able to do while I was there was really awesome.
For both your undergrad and graduate careers in college, how did you handle that degree with a D1 sport like that? Especially, I mean, both of those schools are amazing.
It was definitely pretty tough, especially getting the undergrad degree. Like my first year, just going through in season with all of the chemistry and math and all of that. And it was definitely hard, but time management was super helpful. And having friends in classes was really nice too, because if I missed a practice, I could just send my friend a text and be like, hey, would you be able to send me the notes? Going to office hours and just really grinding it out.
That's like true time management stuff right there. Well, actually, I'm going to jump ahead real quick because speaking of time management, I've talked to a lot of girls who say, you know, once they get to the pro level, there's so much time off. So what are you doing on your time off?
I'm doing a lot. I started actually doing crafts. Wait, let me grab this.
Ooh.
We had like a craft night a few weeks ago, me and a few of my teammates. And while I was at Wisconsin, I got into hand knitting. So I started hand knitting this blanket for my friend, which I'm super excited about. I really like the pattern of it. But I started hand knitting. We do like movie nights, binge TV shows, play games on like the PS5. Just like I got back into reading. I'm actually reading the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So there's a lot of free time. So I have a lot of things that I want to do, I guess.
That's so cool. I love that you guys get together so often and do things like that, movie nights, craft nights, and everything. I got to ask, what movies have you guys watched lately and what's the most recent TV binge?
Okay, so we just finished Dexter. Like all 8 seasons.
The whole show?
The whole show.
And how disappointed were you at the end?
I was so like we literally just finished the last episode last night and I was so disappointed. I was like, no way it ends like that. Because it was such a good show. Now we're watching How to Get Away with Murder.
Ooh, okay.
We're like in season 1 and my eyes are glued to the screen. Like Annalise Keating can act.
Yes.
It's such a good show.
Yes.
But then we watched like Lord of the Rings. A lot of the movies I watched by myself. I binge the TV shows, but I'm into like bad movies. Like a bad Netflix movie is like my cup of tea. So I can't really watch that with anyone else because everyone's like, that movie's so bad. And I love it. There's just something about a bad Netflix movie that really, I don't know, I can't take my eyes off of it.
What's the favorite bad Netflix movie?
There's so many. My favorite genre is probably like rom-com or thriller. A bad Netflix rom-com or thriller. Where like you know what's going to happen, but you still can't take your eyes off it.
When you were in college, I know that you had like help with your club teams with recruiting for college, but when it came to pros, did you know that you wanted to go pro, and did you have people help you with like the landscape? Because I know that the pro landscape can kind of be vast with the international teams and everything.
Yeah, so I really didn't know about professional volleyball outside of like the Olympics until I was a freshman, sophomore in college, and I saw like my senior teammates go overseas. And I was like, that's really cool. I want to do that. I really want to play professional volleyball. And so, like, my freshman and sophomore year, and even junior year too, I was like, okay, I want to go overseas after I'm done playing. And then my senior year, when I went to the All-America banquet, Love was there. And they were just kind of talking about volleyball in the United States and how it would start after my 5th year. So this season, 2025. And I was like, that's a really cool opportunity. I would love to be in Love basically and be able to play in the United States. So now looking forward 2 years later and me being here in Love and playing in the US has been super cool.
Did you find it even more exciting that you got to play in the city where you got to go to school at?
Yeah. I mean, when I was asked to go back to Madison, I was like, yes, of course. Because I just think it's such a special place. Like the Madison fans love volleyball. And you can just see it. The amount of people that kind of know who I am when I'm walking around doing things is super cool. Like just knowing that people watch what we do and like know us, it's really exciting to see. And just seeing the little girls who love watching us and look up to us has been really special.
I was going to ask if you're recognized on the streets. Are you recognized more as a Badger or now as part of Love Madison?
Definitely as a Badger, but people are recognizing me in Love Madison. I actually got a little bracelet last week. I think it's over on my counter, but it was basically every team I played on, like the colors of every team I've played on in my career, which was really sweet from a fan at last weekend's match.
That is so sweet. That's a great friendship bracelet that you got.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
I love that. And very creative. Good for them.
Yeah.
Now, you're on the younger side of the players in the league. So have you found like a mentor, or have you been able to take some of these other players that are on your team and really learn from them, and have they taken you under their wing?
For sure. I think Annie has been so great. Like I grew up watching her play. I told her one of the first days I met her that when I had gone on to a visit to Purdue in 2015, I like watched her play for the first time in person, and she was like, wow, that made me feel really old. That was my senior year of college. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I just had to tell you. But basically, like watching her in 2021 at the Olympics and this past Olympics, and being able to be on a team with her where she's helping me out and like telling me what shots I have open or helping me with a certain swing has been really, really cool. And I've learned a lot from her this season.
Yeah, I feel like walking onto a team knowing that like a 2-time Olympian is, you know, there, she's playing the same position as me and is able to like help me get better is the coolest thing. I haven't experienced it myself, obviously, but I feel like for you, that's got to be like one of the coolest experiences.
It's been really cool and super special. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, and then you got like Lauren Carlini as your setter too, who was a force at the Olympics this summer, and then now you get to play with her and get her sets. What's it like getting a Lauren Carlini set? It's
insane. Like when I was telling people who was gonna be on my team after they had announced it, they were like, "You're playing with Lauren Carlini and Annie Drews." I was like, "Yeah, I am."
That's so funny. I got to interview Annie over the summer, and she was just like the sweetest, like most down to earth player. But then like when you see her play and how hard she hits,
she's
I'm
intense. Like, yeah, it's great. like, it's like intense energy, which can be scary, but you know, it's like in support of you and like directed towards the other team. So it just makes a fire lit under you too.
Mm-hmm. When you guys play other teams, have you made other friends that you didn't know before, had played against before, and now that, like, you know, you get to see each other almost every weekend?
Yeah, yeah. So, fun fact, like the first 2 or 3 weeks we were away, we had every meal with Omaha,
Really?
basically. So, we've made a lot of friends on the Omaha team, like Amber and Lawrence Difference. And also, I knew of like Amber Igidi and Jess Merzick, but I talked to them a little bit more after the Love Classic when we had our little get together. So that was really cool. And then Gabby Blossom on Omaha too. We played at AU. And so it's been really cool talking to her a little bit more too.
It's really cool though that you girls are shaping this new generation of not just volleyball players, but volleyball fans. Like, has that hit you at all in a way? Like, do you feel any weight on your shoulders because of it, or is it more inspirational and motivational?
I think it's definitely more motivational than anything, just because I mean, in college, I kind of saw volleyball growing. And especially while I was at Northwestern, we went from having like 400 or 800 fans in a match to having 4,000 by the time I had left. And so that was really cool to see it growing. And then when I got to Wisconsin, it was like, wow, volleyball has reached such a big stage. And then watching college volleyball this past year to love now, it's just been so cool and special watching it grow that I love being an inspiration to younger girls out there.
And speaking of younger players, I like to ask this from you ladies who are now professionals because I feel like it helps this younger generation grow as volleyball players. But what did you do when you were first starting out, when you first joined club, that really helped propel you to become the player that you are today?
I just kind of had fun with the people that I was playing with. So my like best friends I've met playing volleyball. And I think volleyball just has a lot of special people in it where, yes, you focus on your skill, you focus on the growth, but if you're not having fun while doing it, you're not gonna want to continue it. So I would say the biggest thing that helps me get to where I am is having fun while still focusing on bettering myself in the game.
Now there's only a few more weeks left of the League One volleyball season. So what are your goals for the rest of this season?
I think we want to show that we can compete at a good level and win more games. I think that's our biggest thing. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes, and hopefully at the end of the season we're the team hoisting up the trophy.
It's anybody's trophy, right?
It's anyone's trophy. Mm-hmm.
Well, Temi, it was a pleasure speaking with you. You're so sweet, and I wish you the best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching Serving Pancakes. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. You can also listen to the podcast version on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.